KY in the house. Much love. Good evening. Shout outs to all you guys out there. I see people checking in across the board. All across the U.S. Shout outs to the folks in Canada, the folks in Mexico, the cats across the pond. My brothers and sisters in the UK, Fire to Flame with us tonight. Crown Jewels. Jay from the Bill. Checking in. Eve Bits, thank you for the feedback. Yeah, I see you guys checking in, man. Much love all across the board. Thank you, Tacos, for sharing the link. I want to thank everyone out there that shares the stream, gets it out there on social media, gets it to places that I can't reach. Much love, Nebraska. And Kathy, much love. Kev Bar in the house. Thank you as well. Yeah, thank you for the feedback, Hitman. We're going to get this thing rolling. And going to start off here real quick. Check the chat real quick. Oh, and even though I'm live on multiple platforms here tonight, I will be watching the YouTube chat primarily. If you have anything you need to get to me, it's dabu7@yahoo.com or at me in the chat. Daz checking in. Good to see two of my UK cats checking in. I know it's late over there. Much love, my brothers, and I know it's hell in the streets. And it's turning chaotic all over the place. We're going to talk about that tonight. Space. They said that the Starliner has left the ISS. It's heading back toward Earth without the crew. And without diving into a bunch of the space stuff, I can't stand when they release those video clips up there and it's all black behind them. There's not a star to be seen anywhere. And it's like, come on, like what's going on? Like anyone can walk outside right now and look up and see a zillion stars. And when they release that footage with no stars, it's just like ridiculous. Anyhow, here's a shot of the new solar sail. If you guys don't know, they sent up the solar sail and it's going around the planet. It's this AC S3 advanced composite solar sail system. And it's energized basically by the sun, flying around in subspace. And we had one of the Canadian satellite trackers that photograph all the stuff catch this. And it went right in front of Vega, which is the bright star on the screen. And I'm going to hit play here. You can see this thing going by. So, right there, coming up on Vega, you're going to see it flares up as well in that light, which is very interesting. Very interesting how much it flared up in terms of light just by passing in front of a star that's so far away. Or is it? I thought that was kind of crazy because if you're out in your backyard and you look up and you see this or you catch this, I guarantee you a lot of people are going to be tripping on this thing, this solar sail. Because, I mean, the way it's going by and giving off light and everything else, a lot of people are going to be thinking it's a UFO or something else, but it's not that. It is the solar sail. There's plenty of crazy crap out there at any given moment, but that's what that is. If you guys catch something, you don't know what it is, it might be it. Might not, maybe space junk, maybe a space rock. Through tomorrow, we have a chance of a decent-sized space rock coming in. They classify these asteroids, these near-Earth asteroids, as being potentially hazardous, especially when they come in closer than the moon. That's what we got here. We've got one coming in at 0.9, closer than the moon. So I put a heads up anytime that happens. Yes, and a good evening. everyone is doing well. Shout outs to all the purebloods out there. Dive into some weather here in the United States and a little bit beyond. I only bring this up because you're probably going to see a good drop in temperature here, which I don't think many people are going to complain about this. But instead of 80, 90s, you're looking at 70, 80s. 70s is great weather to me. I don't think a lot of people are going to complain about that out there. Good sunny day in the 70s. Get some work done. Gets up in the 80s. You're working outside. It can get a little toasty, but it beats the mid 90s and beyond. The West is scorching right now. Look at this. Look at these temps out there. D. White, if you're out there tonight, let me know what the temperature is out in your neck of the woods, because I know it can get crazy. Out here in this region right here, Central Pacific Northwest, I don't know what you would call that. It's not the Pacific Northwest, but he's out here in like Idaho. It's in Idaho, right where all this red is, dark red. So we're on the opposite down here. I'm in Kentucky, and I'll take it. I'll take a couple days of great weather. 103 out here in Central Cali. Thank you, Deborah, for checking in. Giovanni saying I'm in LA and it's blazing. See, that's what I'm talking about. It looks like the cool stuff dives down into Texas. William says 74 in Texas. Yeah, it looks like that's where it begins. So hopefully you can enjoy the next couple days. Get outside. Make the most of it if you can. Probably rebound after that, but yeah, if I could have it stay in the 70s all year long, that would be my ideal window. Well, on the last stream, I told you about the hurricanes and how there's been none, really. No tropical storms or hurricanes have developed in the Atlantic for 3 weeks, and this is super abnormal. Super duper duper duper. Because when you go back and you look at all the models every year in this time, I mean, you never see a stretch like this really break loose. What this does is it sets up some crazy patterns out in the ocean that I was showing last time. Plus, they're trying to say that there's this unusual cooling pattern in the Atlantic. There's like something going on. Anytime there's something going on, usually the end result is not good, because these guys are out there manipulating something. Let me tell you, with a bunch of cool water all of a sudden out there, or a cool patch, and you've got constant dry, hot air coming off of Africa that pours into that region. To me, that's setting up the potential for something crazy. We've seen a couple storm systems in the past kind of come together. We've been waiting to see this like superstorm set up. But if 3 or more storms were to come together out there and all the energy was to roll into one, you're talking about like the storm of storms. It can still happen. We still got time here. I don't know. It just seems kind of odd with the setup. So I just wanted to mention it. In the meantime, it should be decent weather. You don't have to worry about tropical storms or hurricanes bearing down if you're down on the beaches or anything like that. So again, enjoy the window while you can. All right, I'm going to throw some updates out there on this shooting. If you guys missed it, there was a shooting that just took place here the other day in Georgia. We had the kid on the left, this piece of work on the left, go into a school, his high school, and shot 4 people with an AR-15 that apparently he stole from home. Now we're finding out that not only he, but also his father is being charged in this whole thing. And this is going to have like implications and ramifications for everyone, as a lot of these court cases often do. If this was to get picked up by if this was to go higher to higher courts or something like that, they could, use this to make an example. They're always out there trying to do something in terms of the guns. So trying to politicize one of these events, it's not shocking. But they went directly after the father here. And they say that just one day after all this went down, they've arrested the father and charged him with murder because he made an AR-15 available to his son. Yep, police sources told NBC that Colin Gray gave the rifle to his son as a gift. A move that came after the pair had been questioned by police investigating a tip about a school threat from a year ago. So he bought the weapon, put it in his son's hands, basically, and he has already been busted making threats. This is what's super crazy about all this. So this kid goes into school. He's in school. He disappears for quite a while and comes back and disappears, I guess, again before he comes back and the shooting goes down. He comes in and he shoots 2 students and 2 teachers before, I guess, running out of ammunition and falling back into somewhere else before they caught him. Someone ran up on him and they got him. He gave up. So they've got him and his dad, and they were both brought into court. This all took place at this Appalachian High School. This is in Winder. It's about 50 miles northeast of Atlanta in Georgia. 9 other people were injured in this incident. And while not charged in the school shooting, his mother has a long and varied criminal history of her own. For whatever reason, they've got her in here in this update. So there she is there, which probably doesn't bode well. Family members saying that he was begging for mental health help from everybody around him. Now, that is insane. His aunt says this. If he was begging, he should have got it. The first time, without a doubt, if the school heard about it, if feds heard about it, anyone, he should have got the help immediately. He didn't. And all too often we talk about the mental health crisis in this country and everything else, and it's like they skip over it. They just skip over it and go straight to, we want to take the guns. And that's ridiculous. These 2 are getting put away big time for this, but what blows me away is that I report on stories like this, right? And then the next thing you know, you find out that the FBI had some kind of foreknowledge. You see? So this happens again. The FBI was monitoring this dude since last year. What's the odds? Once again, as the title says, they dropped the ball. So what happens is someone off of Reddit reported to the feds that this kid was making threats. They reported to the FBI that this kid was threatening, posting pictures of guns and all this other stuff. So they already knew this. They went and they talked to the family and all this. And the kid was like, I'd never do that, blah, 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 lied through his teeth because here he just did it. But they knew. The feds still knew. The kid was done making statements, all this. So, look, if they charge the dad big time in this, throw the book at him. They're going to try to put it down to where anything like this happens, period, like the parents are going to be charged. I'm sure different states are going to have to pick it up on their own. But, man, this reminds me of, right, what was the most recent event? All right, the Trump shooting. Let's just go with that. The dude on the roof that took the shots, all the connections to the feds, all the weird stuff, all the red flags connected. And it's like, hold on, the Fed should have knew there. And 1,000 questions start to fly. We see a pattern. We, the people, the collective that are investigating this and watching and seeing this, what we're seeing here is evidence that there's a pattern of criminality coming from the highest offices out there. That they are caught with their hand in the cookie jar every time, so to speak. And then when busted and called out on it, they basically look at you like, what are you going to do? Getting away with murder every single time. I mean, no one ever gets busted or thrown in jail for their treason and their crimes committed at these high levels. I mean, who's above them to do it? I mean, you literally have to have a president that comes in there and starts to clean house. Remember, the last guy that threatened to do that, to go in and clean up the CIA and all that, and told you, warned the whole world about it. They killed him a very short time later. That was real deal. It wasn't fake or staged. Like, they blew his head off. And that was to make a statement. It was also in a process called the killing of a king. It's an occult. An occult sacrifice. Anyhow, this man knows well all this stuff. Director Ray. Can you imagine how many of these shootings we've talked about and went through, how many of these events? And this guy's knowledge on all of it, on all the events, on all the shooters. I mean, this man alone, I believe, should be asked questions by the people. But I've seen this guy go in there. These guys are savvy. They get questioned in court, and they have a workaround. They're trained to have a workaround for all these things. A quick, savvy answer for all of it. Their actions speak louder than words, though. All right, check this out. A lot of corporations out there apparently are dropping their DEI policies. And this has been rammed down the throats of a lot of companies, a lot of people. And people have been forced to have to accept these ideologies that come along with these programs, or this DEI program. Over recent years, it's swept throughout the corporate world. Well, this reminds me of J.P. Morgan Chase backing out of the climate stuff, because so many people were telling them, look, you're not doing business, like in my state, Kentucky, they told them, you're not doing business here if you don't quit this. So literally, they backed out. They backed out of the whole climate crap. The biggest bank out there. It shows the power of the people. If they do step up and they say something, things can happen. You just got to get up and do it. You got to get up and do it. And when you do it in mass, things shift. They do. So this is another example right here. So many people started to complain about this DEI stuff and moving away from it, that these companies have to scrap it in mass. So it just shows that, power in the people, once again, once the people start to make moves in mass, like, I'm not working there. I'm just not applying. I'm not doing this. We're not buying from there. All this because of those policies alone. Well, they're eating crow now. So let's move to this next one. It seems that there is a purge going on. in terms of all of the platforms. It seems like there's something going on where there's definitely an attack targeting a lot of the social media platforms. It seems that the ones that's not getting attacked are ones that they must be satisfied or in check, so to speak, right now. Snapchat, let's just start here. This is the latest that they're going after. We have the New Mexico Attorney General launching a lawsuit against Snapchat or Snap Inc. And this is following an undercover investigation. It's accusing the whole site of creating a breeding ground for child sexual exploitation. And this is through the app. They filed this on Thursday, and they're alleging the Snapchat and its disappearing images and messages have facilitated predators in collecting sexual, explicit images of children and using them for extortion. Now, what's crazy is Snapchat pushes out there that their images and everything that they send disappears after a little bit. It like vanishes. That's why there's a ghost there. That's their image. That's the big thing. So people think that they can go and they can send something to somebody and then it disappears. And there's no proof or evidence that you ever did it. It's almost like a scandalous, very scandalous type thing. Because it's just, to me, it's just begging for bad things to happen there. Just as you are seeing. You're having pedophiles, pedos, go on this site en masse, sharing pictures of whatever, whoever, however, and then it's deleted. So they thought. Okay, so they thought. Okay, and this created a huge thing, a breeding ground. What they're saying for child predators. They've got a database right now that they're setting on of every single picture that's ever been sent on their network because the feds will make them. That database is massive. And they've got all these people connected to all these images. And it just blows my mind how many of them are that stupid to share anything on digital, anything. Okay, if you went out and say they went and robbed a bank and they were hitting a butt hip and they thought that they could send it through Snapchat. Like, yo, I just hit that leg over on Vine. Blah, blah, blah. Meet me here. Boom. And thinking it's going to disappear. They got you too, idiots. Anybody that's going to send anything out there over this digital trap, you can't trust nothing. So, anyhow, I just wanted to point it out that Snapchat, for what it's worth, I don't use it, but anyone that does, you could expect this to go bye-bye here probably pretty soon, or at least bare minimum, they're gonna go through and like have all types of different censorship parameters put into place, and I just don't know what they're gonna do here about all this. I mean, for one thing is they're lying to everyone, and they're caught lying to everyone right here, and that's part of the problem here. Okay, Snap's conduct is not only dangerously deceptive, but they're saying that it's unlawful. This may take down the whole thing. You see, New Mexico's not stopping there. They're going after Meta, also the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, for enabling similar child sexual exploitation activities on its platform. But it's not utilizing this. It's not pushing, it's not making a name for itself out there like Snapchat does, that you can send all this stuff and it's gone. How many foolish people think this about so many other things or other? I see this in the crypto realm. Everyone's just like, oh, you can use this crypto and you won't get traced or this one or that, like garbage. It's like, shut up. Like, you're talking at the side of your, you don't know nothing. Everything out here digital is traced. Everything. And you go on believing whatever. You can be one of the fools that get caught in a story like this down the road for believing some crap. Um, well, my buddy told me it was triple encrypted. Their servers are in Iceland. All this other crap, I've heard it all, man. It's all garbage. Anything you're sending on digital, anything, you better know they're tracking and tracing, and there's a fingerprint to it. Just saying. All right, let's dive into an update here with Durov, Telegram. If you guys don't know, the CEO, Pavel Durov, of Telegram was taken down, and they arrested him in France. And this is kind of like crazy. Like, they just kind of out of nowhere sprung on him. Took him down and said that he was trying to not work with feds. He was trying to not do as they say, basically. And he had to fight this. He's out on bail and everything, and he's releasing a statement. He's basically saying that, look, no innovator will ever build new tools if they know that they can be personally held responsible for potential abuses of those tools. Like, no one's going to release any new tech or any new innovative anything if they can be held responsible for it. That's like saying the guy that invented the bomb could be held responsible for it later. Which these arguments will fly. The guy that invented the bullet could be held responsible. The guy that invented the gun. The guy that invented the laser beam. The guy that invented all this. Is this point. Telegram is very honeypotish. That is the truth. Much love, Kathy. Uncommon. So he basically says, look, he has no choice but to say the right thing at this point. He's saying that we've been committed to doing the right thing, but we're going to work with regulators to fix things. So this is what regulators are saying. And they can say this about any site, okay? Any site, okay? They can go to the site and they can say, look, your users are doing illegal things. You have to stop it. You have to remove them. You have to remove the content. You have to censor all this and that. Very similar to what they're doing to Elon right now. The exact same thing, but they're doing to Elon. Elon's set to be the top of the pyramid that they're going after. And that this guy's just a stepping stone. They're really trying to go after all these platforms with a wave of massive censorship. We're seeing it. I just told you about Reddit, gone at this point. Or not Reddit, but you might as well throw Reddit out there too, because Reddit, they're going to say it's the same thing. They're going to say Reddit is just like Telegram. It's all it is. It's a place where people gather and they talk. And they're saying in those forums, dangerous things are happening. All they are communication forums where people are trading information under different titles and in different little chats. That's all any of it is, man. And information being traded. Discord is the exact same way. I'm telling you. It's like, just wait. So he's trying to say that they're committed to a balance between privacy and security. But they've already got to him. They've already got to him. See if I've got another one here. It says something about that. Thought I had another one here. Maybe I don't. Let me look down here real quick. Oh, here it is. I thought it was on another link. But this is my point. Right here. He was detained by the ONAF, and they alleged the facilitation of various crimes, including terrorism, narcotics trafficking, child abuse, money laundering, and fraud. Okay? So this is what just happened when he got released. Telegram quietly updates their facts, and they remove this paragraph. And they got a before and after here. And this is what it says, what they removed. All Telegram chats and group chats are private amongst their participants. We do not process any request related to them. Meaning if the feds come to them and want that chat and all that, they don't process them. You see? And this is exactly what just got him taken out. He failed to comply with the man. They wanted to know all these different things, and they weren't doing so all this time. Years this has gone by, since their inception. So they've got to all the way to this point. Dude's a billionaire, the CEO is. Got this company this big. And now they're coming in and they're clamping down. They're like, look, game over. You're giving us whatever we want, or we're going to arrest you again. So I don't even know if dude's allowed to leave France at this point. It's insane what's going on. It's almost like Elon Musk cannot risk going to any of these places. He's got to watch where he treads because they've called for his arrest in certain places too. He is literally going to war, Elon is right now, with Brazil in their highest courts that are kicking him and X out of the country and everything else. It's insane. Like, the world is a stage, yes, but this is how it's all being rolled out. In the end, if they take out Elon and Trump and all them, I hate to say it, but they represent the freedom side of all this. Even though it's a left-right paradigm and all this other crap, and we tell you it all the time, it's the truth, though. If they go through and they smash all these places, they're censored through and through. As Elon keeps warning, if Kamala gets in here, it's over. She will take it. Okay? But over Labor Day weekend, on TikTok, these videos started spreading where someone was able to go and take, I guess, and this is check fraud, by the way, so don't even attempt it. They were taking these checks for large amounts and, like, putting them into the bank, and, like, a short time later, the money was available to withdraw, and instead of it being like it's a $500 limit, people were getting out thousands and thousands and large amounts. So this glitch, remember about these glitches that just keep happening. This glitch, this time at Chase Bank, and it's the biggest bank out there. It had hundreds of people doing it. And what's crazy is they took a picture of this or video. This was in New York, the Chase Bank. And the word spread so quickly, the people were out in mass by the dozens going in trying to do this. What they failed to realize, all these foolish people, is that they all committed felony check fraud in the midst of doing this. This viral whatever, what is it? You're stealing money in the end, period. It's like writing a bad check or anything else. So they're going in and doing this in mass. Watch this. It's crazy.
Nah, I said it's heavy. Niggas is lined up. Nah, this shit is elephant. No, only let niggas in one by one.
Okay, so they're tripping out because what they're seeing is a massive line. All these people going down around the street to go in and try this, to do this. And they know it. They're sitting there watching it like, oh my God. Like, the thing is the guy that filmed this, did he do it too? Like, every single person that did this is basically busted. They said in the end, not only were they aware of this, they said regardless of what you see online, depositing a fraudulent check and withdrawing the funds from your account is fraud, plain and simple. Check kiting. It's called check kiting. And it's been around since the invention of checks. And basically, this glitch just allowed them to blow it up. And they say just because money appears in your account doesn't mean it's literally yours, especially this. It noted that if the fraudulent amount exceeds $500, there's a higher chance of it being a felony rather than a misdemeanor. So every single person that participated in this had their funds frozen, and they're now facing charges. So how they thought that they were going to get away with the whole thing, someone says, I bet Chase let them. It's, who knows in this crazy world, you know? But just a heads up, that's what was going on. If you hear things like that, you better put on your thinking cap before you just go running to participate. I'm sure you seen the line there. It like went down around the block. Like, you see that many people, people think, oh, well, if this many people are doing it, then it's got to be cool. It's got to be okay. We surely can't all get busted and get in trouble. Well, that's exactly what just happened. Every one of you. And all of them are on camera. Everything else is just, it's just pathetically stupid. Yeah, so. Glitch, huh? No, I don't know. All right. Now let's dive into something else that's, in my opinion, very important. That is the Great Replacement. And it's here, and it's happening. And you don't have to bicker or argue with anyone of if it's happening. All it's happening. Just look at all the migrant stories now. I mean, all you could do is cite that, everything that's happening with the gangs. That alone shows that it's here, that it's out of control. And I'm going to get to that. But let's talk jobs, because this is shocking. And you can take these numbers. You can take this evidence, this proof now, to anyone that wants to argue. And you can take facts and kill the argument. Because most of the time, anyone that you're having an argument with over this, they're not going to be coming with anything but just their mouth. Okay, so come with facts and some numbers and some evidence, and you can shut them down. Okay, well, here we go. Let's look at jobs since 2019, since right before this Biden regime got in office. And you can definitely see that they've wrecked this place. And look what they've done. They've replaced us with illegal migrants. Look at this. Native-born U.S. workers have lost 1.4 million jobs. Over the same time period, foreign-born workers gained 3 million jobs. These are the facts and the data that just came through, and it's sickening. It's insane. We are being replaced right in front of your face. I guess the TV's not telling you this. Evening news isn't pointing it out. It's out of sight, out of mind. I don't know. This is it. Let me tell you. So they tried to cover this up. They tried to cover up all this data. Okay? You're right, Kev Bar. You got to think things through for sure. Trying to find, they got a couple other stats here. Okay, and this is another part of it. They say while the number of employed workers did rise, so jobs rose a little bit, 168,000. Looking closer at the composition of the increase, it's disastrous because it consisted of an increase of 527,000 part-time jobs. They have wiped out the full-time jobs. Wiped them out. And you know this, all the businesses, all the places, they've wiped out the full-time jobs and they've replaced them with all these part-time jobs. Okay, so there's an increase of 527,000 part-time jobs and an offset by a 438,000 plunge in full-time jobs. That's how many have been chopped, gone. This means that since last June, the United States has added just over 2 million part-time jobs and lost over 1.5 million full-time jobs. As we get our first disconnect off OBS here tonight, as things just start to heat up. It better be the only one. So, you know, this is the situation. We're being replaced. It's a cold, hard fact at this point. when you look at all the jobs, foreign-born workers versus native-born workers, this is where it's at. So, let's talk about the stock market real quick. It seems that the stock market is about to pop. And I've been telling people this for a minute, that if you're in a 401k, you better watch it, because most 401ks are tied into the stock market. That's what they've done these days anyway. And you got to really watch it. It's been all right through all these years when you've been going uphill. But when this thing starts to go into a bear market or it dumps off the top, it's not going to be fun for anyone. You're going to lose a ton of money. I feel what's about to come and what's about to happen is on par with being like the Great Depression. Matter of fact, I think it's designed to cause the next Great Depression. And they're going to steal everyone's money, their 401ks. Why would they not? That's where everyone's money is today. Just sit back and think about it for a second. If you're a crook and you're a criminal, put yourself into the shoes of the criminal. That's how an investigator has to do to figure out what they're doing. Well, how can we steal everyone's money and get away with it? Is what they're thinking. Stock market, you can steal that money. You see, if you tie it into the stock market that you can control, manipulate, and dump because you control the majority of the shares in those stocks, it's game over. Especially if you can dump and no one else can, that they're stopping people from dumping. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Anyway, I feel that we're there. We're at a point where all the signs are there. The consumer's tapped out. I tell you this every week, it gets worse and worse. Talk about the businesses going into bankruptcy. Yeah, the OBS just went off a little bit. It was the second time I've seen it. Hopefully we don't have an episode. It seems like every time I get into the hot and heavy stuff, the OBS wants to throw out. But hopefully it stays good here. It's OBS. I'm going to have to switch to something else if this persists. So diamonds. The price of diamonds crashed to a multi-decade low. Art, wine, Rolex markets, all sour, all go south. And this says that everything is in trouble. The whole industry is in trouble. Hold on one second. And that overall is just not good. So all the signs are there right now that the market come down at any time. And I've also told you about what's going on here with Warren Buffett. He is in what they're now calling a dumpathon. It was at 5, nearing 6 billion. He's now crossed a $7 billion marker here. And all these questions are swirling as to why is this guy doing this? Why is he dumping all these shares all of a sudden? Well, we come to find out that up in Canada, TD Bank of Canada is under investigation for money laundering in its connections to the Chinese, and the Chinese using the bank to launder its drug money and all this other stuff. They've also said about a dozen or more big U.S. banks are connected, and they've refused to name any. There's a lot of speculation. The Bank of America is among these banks. Chase could be, all these other big ones could be. I mean, they said about a dozen or so. I mean, come on. There's only so many of them. As soon as the word gets out that one major U.S. bank is connected to all this, it's going to dump. And that's what everyone's saying on the back end and that deals with this stuff. They fear that this is what's happening. And they said there's no other main reason why this guy's doing this and not buying nothing else. They're diving into cash. which they say also is odd. Like, why are they doing that? Why? Usually this guy buys up more of other stock and all this other stuff because everyone watches his moves. He's not. And if he goes over a certain percentage of what he sells, he has to release, he has to disclose the transactions within a few days. You see? Understand this. Understand this, okay? If within a certain time frame, if he sells more than 10% of his holdings, he has to, by law, reveal those transactions within a few days. If he does less than that and he gets through this time frame and jumps through the loopholes like he's known to do, then he don't have to report it till later. It later could be months down the road. It could be after a huge disaster, after this whole place has come crashing down. It's not going to matter then. So he is, by all accounts, purposely dumping everything he can right up to underneath this threshold, which is throwing more red flags. People are like, what is he trying to hide now? Like, why is he doing this? It's not good. He has insider information, whatever it may be, it's not good. Just know when the world's richest dude in like this department, like one of the best in this department, is doing this, you should probably heed the signs. I think big information is going to come out of that here soon, and it's going to affect the markets big time. And if you've got money in any of these banks, you ain't going to get it out. I could see all kinds of people trying to rush to get their money out of stocks or something, and they're just not going to let them. They're going to tell them, oh, it takes weeks to do that. No, it don't. No, it don't. I've had all kinds of people here recently cash it out. So they can feed you whatever, and you can buy it wherever you're at, from whatever situation. But I know a ton of people that have already done it and already got their 401k out just since I've been warning. And have been making moves. And have been letting me know of those moves. People have been acquiring land, RVs, all types of stuff, making moves, getting into their spot because they see what's happening. A lot of people didn't forget what they did to us, how they locked everything down, and they know a next one's coming. And not only that, they're looking and they're seeing what's going on with this migrant stuff that's just beginning. And oh man, if you want to get caught out there in this madness, that's on you. But salutes to those that are making moves. All right, top of the hour. Just give a quick shout out to everybody out there. Much love. I want to thank everyone that shares the stream, supports the stream, all that good stuff. It's appreciated to the fullest. And yes, the CBDC is in the works. It's my belief it's going to take a crisis like the banks, like I was just telling you. It's going to take a crisis like that to lock the bank, to lock the whole system up. The whole entire thing. If you crash the economy, you steal everybody's money, you freeze up the banks and all that, you introduce a CBDC or just an IT glitch. I really think something like that glitch is going to happen large scale. Ransomware attack, cyber attack, or glitch, whatever you want to call it, it's going to be a prolonged event. When you sit back and you put your thinking cap on and you think these things out, like what's going to benefit them, what's the easiest for them, all these other things, it has to be a crisis of that magnitude. It has to be a banking type of crisis where people cannot access their money. There has to be the banks, just straight up. There's like no other way around it. And then the whole reason for the CBDC is the government has a way to go straight to you through a digital wallet without having to use a bank. But don't forget, they made sure that every single bank has a digital wallet in there for you. They've already done it. That's pretty crazy. That's wicked. The framework is right in front of you. Don't you know? You've got a digital wallet that you did not even ask for in your accounts at all banks. Why is that so? Everyone's going to find out. Anyhow, moving into the politics here at the top of the hour. it seems that this isn't the good old days, so to speak, of the era that we grew up in. That's for sure. Things are changing. One of those major things is that this younger generation, the generation out there right now that is stepping into the voting scene, they're not as inclined to be sitting there watching TV, so to speak, cable, and watching ads on TV as they are to be watching videos like the one here tonight, this live stream, online. Basically saying that social media and influencers have entered the era of politics. And that you can see this when it comes to the Biden regime and even Kamala and what they're trying to do. They've been caught going out trying to pay all kinds of people to promote them. This left and right. They've just been going out and paying all kinds of people. And these people shut them down and turned around and gone straight to social media and told their followers, look, they just tried to buy us out, you know. But some fall for this. Some take the bait and they do it and they push it all day. They take the check and they push it and they don't care. But I told you yesterday or the other day on the last stream that there's shells everywhere. I was showing you about Tim and all the others out there. They make millions. Real truthers and cats out there that do this on the real do not make millions. Do you understand me? Shills and trolls can say that all they want, but that's just running that mouth and psyop. None of the real come anywhere close because they do the exact opposite to you. They defund you. They demonetize you. They attack you. They do all these things. They don't give you the biggest platform out there in front of everyone and they pay you millions of dollars. That's when you're working for them and serving their agenda one way or another. You need to be smart enough to see that. So it's all over the place these days. All kinds of these fools are bought and paid for. It's sickening. It's sickening. But that's where we're at. And in terms of the politics in the markets, there's one thing that's for sure here. If Kamala gets in here, they're saying that this whole market is going bye-bye. Like, some of their staunchest supporters off that left side have even come out complaining, saying like, no, this is too much. It's going too far. She's talking about capital gains taxes, unrealized gain taxes. Those are two big different things, different taxes. All types of stuff that would just cripple any investment and it would pop the bubble here, so to speak. Look at this. Look at what everything just did today. The S&P futures just tanked as they keep dropping this information about Kamala. Brent crude tanked. Bitcoin tanked. US dollar tanked. God, they hardly ever do this in tandem. One runs while the rest dump off. Even gold fell back below 2,500. So this is a pullback for anyone out there. You look for these rare opportunities, pullbacks to enter into gold and silver. Everyone's always asking me. These are the things I'm looking for. When you're seeing disastrous days like this and they're all pulling back, well, I'd be over here rubbing my hands if you're looking to get in to gold or silver. This is what you wait for. You wait for these pullbacks to enter. And we'll just have to wait and see what happens from here. When there's an initial dump off like this, there could be more to follow. I mean, we're on a weekend. They always say it can start on Friday. Well, Monday it could worsen. And Tuesday, you know what I'm saying? You never know. It's bad for if you're holding it because the value of what you're holding is going down, but you've got to look at the bright side. With gold in particular, the way that I see it is you always buy the pullbacks. This thing's heading uphill toward 20,000 without a doubt. Any of these small pullbacks, That's how you would treat Bitcoin too. Any of them, anything. That's how you play anything. You buy the dips, sell the tips. Thing is, none of these other things are the real money. Gold is the real money. So that's why the central banks are stacking their coffers with it, because that's the real deal. It's the real money. When all this monopoly money fades away, and it will, it is now, when it all fades away completely, gold is king. Whoever backs their money in gold, people are going to trade in that currency. If they're backing contracts in gold, then they're going to put contracts into motion with places like China and Russia that are backing it in gold. If we're not, they're not going to mess with us. They've destroyed this place, man. This country cannot take 4 more years of what we've just been through. It will be absolutely done. Third world dump done. Listen, even Mark Cuban, from Shark Tank, he's a big-time left-leaning, Biden-supporting billionaire. Bullets are king. Listen to what he says about this whole thing. I just want you to see that even they have disdain. And I watch these things because he says it flat out. He says that they will kill the stock market. Okay? This is Mark Cuban telling you his side, his people, their plan is about to kill the stock market. Okay? So just don't take it from me in the warning signs. It's coming, whether it's Trump or it's Kamala. Because Trump, they'll do it by default, just because it's him. They'll dump the whole damn thing on him, on his watch. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? Kamala, it seems like they're putting in hyperdrive here. Maybe they give you Kamala and this whole thing comes crashing down. I don't know. Either way, it's going to come crashing down. Listen.
Mark, speak to the unrealized
vote on it.
But speak to the unrealized tax gain issue, which is to the extent that she, at least as of now, to the extent that she's sticking with any of the Biden plan, there would be a wealth tax effectively on some of the wealthiest Americans in the country, over $100 million.
Yeah, every conversation I've had is that it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
Again, I'm not speaking for, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to speak for the vice president. She makes the final decision. Again, I'm talking to these folks 3-4 times a week, having back and forth conversations, and their verbatim words to me is, that's not where we want to go. We need to find alternative sources of revenue, things I've just spoken about. And those alternative sources of revenue are meant to replace what the unearned income, the unrealized gains tax from the Biden plan would have implemented.
What do you say? There's a whole bunch of folks in the Valley who I've been in touch with in the past week on this unrealized tax issue, gain issue, and where we've talked about, those who are taking loans against their unrealized stock, et cetera, et cetera. And then they say, well, if you start to tax that, we won't be able to make investments in startups. We won't be able to give money over to venture capitalists and private equity folks and other things like that. What's your feedback to that distinction? Because I wonder, once there's a critique of one, then of one policy, and you get rid of that policy, then of course it moves to the critique of the next version of it.
Well, of course, but okay. So what I told him was, if you tax unrealized gains, you're going to kill the stock market, right? And it's going to be the ultimate employment plan for private equity, because companies are not going to go public because you can get whipsawed, right? I mean, my own personal experience back from the internet days, right? All of a sudden, I was cash poor, but equity rich, right? My net worth was enormous, but the number of dollars in the bank wasn't enormous, and so I'd have based off.
Okay, so I'm not going to play 5 minutes of Mark Cuban talking. You can go watch Shark Tank if you want that. Cuban, love him or hate him, he has some intelligence. He's part of the club, no doubt. He is savvy. He's a very intellectual business dude. I mean, you can just see it off Shark Tank. I mean, love him or hate him. All those people are there for a reason. Because they've made big moves. And also because they're in the club. They've had doors open for them that the rest of us would never even know existed. So that in itself is unfair. But I guess the biggest thing is I treat him kind of like Elon. They they start talking, and when they start talking, they get into it so much that things slip out that maybe we weren't supposed to know, or maybe it was supposed to be dropped, a breadcrumb. But this is one of those things. Kill the stock market, the capital gains tax. Well, she's talking about very seriously doing this. Okay, unrealized gains, capital gains, there's two different things. And if they were to go after both, it would decimate everything. I mean, the guy just said it himself. If they tried to push this through, you're talking about killing the stock market, effectively. Deanne, man, thank you for the 7 coffees and the blessings. Much love right back at you. Thank you for those first coffees of the evening, and it's, again, much appreciated. Shalom, they're Prada. And good evening, Cannon's in the house. Hope all is good, my brother. Good to hear from you here recently. As always, could have talked a little longer, but much love, my brother. Gonna keep it pushing here. Just wanted to point this out right here. You don't need unrealized gains tax. Just lifting capital gains tax will unleash hell. So this one's another one. Somebody else's perspective, saying that just one of the two. You know, capital gains on assets, including businesses, second homes, and shares, are currently taxed between 10 and 28%, lower than the 20 to 45% levied on income. Okay, so she's talking about throwing it in the same bracket. Nuh-uh. Like, getting taxed up to 45% on that, people like, there's no way. And it's not just the small dogs out there or the middle class. This is everyone that's kind of like, you just seen that dude talking to Cuban there. He was even kind of squirming in his seat. He's like, like, what do we do? Because basically, he put a veiled threat out there. He's like, Cuban, what do we tell them? If they want to do this, if they want to take away this money from us, then we're not going to have money to give here. And we're not going to have money to give there. And it's basically saying, like, we're going to stop giving you money if you want to take money away. Like, we're done giving to your charities and doing this and that. And it's like, hold on. Like, everyone is about to feel this across the board. There's no way. There's no way you can't. Like, everyone will feel the shock of what's about to happen. So, man, just know that if, you wake up that next morning and they're like, the votes are in, it's tallied. The next president of the United States of America is Kamala Harris. Dude, it's over. It's over. It's over. I don't want to hear from that moment when it happens. I don't want to hear nothing out of a Trumper's mouth. Anyone that wants to wait 4 more years, y'all can just kick rocks in my book. Marsha, thank you for the coffees. And America does have to stand up for each other. And we're going to get to that here in just a bit. We're about to get into that here in just a moment. All the stuff going on with the migrants, we're going to have to do here. But this is going to kill us economically. I just showed you here tonight. If you ain't seen it yet, I showed you the real numbers. They're in. We're being replaced. This is the great replacement. Full-time jobs wiped out. Native-born people's jobs wiped out. And a surplus of millions of jobs handed to these migrants. Specifically, because the government's going to these places and they're telling all these companies, like, you have to, like, threatening them. You have to have this many migrants, this many this, if you want this or that, or it's all threats, man. But this is what's happening. In the political realm here still, let me point out a few things, okay? Pennsylvania, because this election's going to come down to, you're going to see a couple battleground states. It always does. And a couple crazy events. But the Pennsylvania Appeals Court just ruled that county officials must count the provisional ballots of individuals claiming their mail-in ballots were rejected. This means that a whole slew of people could say this. And this expands on an infamous practice known as ballot curing. And they've opened the door for this to go down inside of a key battleground state in Pennsylvania. So before we even get there, I want folks to know the stage is done set in Pennsylvania. Much love, Pixie. Just know it's the stage is set, man. When it comes down, if it's election night or whatever, and they're like, oh, it comes down to Pennsylvania, just know it's done. Know it's in. The fix is in. It's over. I don't see how you get Trump out of this just by looking at history. Everything we've gone through up to here, I just don't see how. If you do get him, it's kind of ominous to me because the first thought that like God puts in my body is that if you get Trump, it's on, like it crumbles. They bring the whole thing down. It's like towers crumble, like the whole thing comes crashing down. It's like they'll do it to him. They'll implode it. They'll rig it with explosives and bring it down, like they like to do. And they'll blame it on him for the history books. Why would they not? Why would they want the history books to show that they screwed it up? It was their fault. That's why I lean heavy that Trump may damn well get in here. I mean, he's already got it. You go out and look at the rallies. I told you, he packs stadiums, and Kamala and them have to bust people in. Here's another big key thing. RFK, I told you, he's like this, I don't know, man. I really feel he was just thrown in here and into the mix to be just what he's doing right here. Which is a monkey wrench kind of in the game, depending on which way you want to take it. He's ended up saying he's going to go with Trump. He's going to ride with the Trump team, all this other stuff, and that he wants taken off the other ballots. Problem with that. Some of these places were like, oh, we're not going to do that. In North Carolina, initially, all this week, has said, you're staying on the ballot, saying there's no way that we can take him off. There's not enough time. There's not enough time to take his name off and reprint all the ballots. That's what their excuse has been, right? All this week, it's been that. Yes goes out. The moment that I say Democrat dirty tricks, the OBS goes out. We'd been good up till then. That's the third time tonight. Better not happen again. Anyhow, they're taking his name off of the ballots in North Carolina and Michigan. So he's ordered off the ballot. So they are going to reprint them and put them out there. Here, so this works in Trump's favor, okay? And I don't know. Coming into the battleground states, it's always a big thing. So looky here. What did I just say? They got to bust people in. Listen to what this lady says.
Well, behind me, hundreds of invited Harris supporters are leaving and boarding shuttle buses. This was a departure for Kamala Harris, leaving toss-up states to come to New Hampshire. Well,
So CBS Boston just aired it out and didn't even really realize what they were doing, right? And so they point out that the Harris regime here is busing people in from like 400 miles out. They're busing anyone and everyone in that they can to get to this thing, and then paying for their ride back out. I'm sure they're paying for hotel stay too if you couldn't get out. But this thing's not in the bag by far. for Kamala, because they wanted to come out with these stupid polls and try to tell you and show you that Kamala was beating him. Dude, it's gaslighting. It's as bad as it gets. She comes nowhere close. She actually trails Biden and Hillary Clinton versus Trump at this phase of the race. Yeah. And the only reason that she had decent numbers was, as I showed on the last stream, oversampling. This means that they go in and they do 1,000 people in a poll. What they'll do, it should be like 50-50. It should be fair and balanced. They'll go in and they'll do like 990 Democrats and like 10 Republicans. You know what I'm saying? That's how they'll do it. Super biased. And that's called oversampling. You know, oversampling, undersampling, you can do it both ways, but this is what they're being charged with. And when, in terms of polls, the polls are finding that Donald Trump is leading Kamala among veterans, and he's doing so by double digits. And this is despite all the smears, the fake polls, and all that. They say when you go out and you do legitimate polling, as fair and balanced as you can possibly do, that he is beating her pretty dang bad when it comes to veterans. I mean, it's kind of obvious. Okay? And CNN, of all places, I mean, look, it's been Mark Cuban, now CNN, left-leaning entities here saying it how it is, man. There's no sugarcoating none of this. CNN pointing out that Trump has a huge advantage over Harris with male voters. And it's not just that. It's with all kinds. And we'll play this clip real quick.
You look at the white voters without college degrees. This is a Trump base constituency, obviously. You see his huge numbers with this group. You see that this is a trouble sign for Harris. She also, in a place like Georgia, is not doing well with white college-educated voters. She probably wants to make up some ground with white college-educated voters across these battlegrounds as well, Kate.
An important gut.
Look at these numbers, Kate. Among female likely voters in these states, you see this is a 17 percentage point lead in Wisconsin.
And this is the only place that shows that she has advantages of on these polls is with females. And you've got to see right there, for any young girl that doesn't know any better out there that's green, that sees this is the first woman that could become president, and the way they're blowing this up. Of course, a young, naive, not knowing girl that sees this is going to gravitate, especially if they're pushing it in school and they're pushing it all these other places. They don't know any better. The youth just don't know any better, and you know this. You got to live life and get screwed over by the system and become a slave and work in it for years. Then you start to realize, oh, this is a game, this is a scam. And, you know, once you're in the 30s, you really start to wake up. And if you're lucky, earlier. Definitely by 40s. You know, you got the thing figured out that it's a scam. Hopefully, you got it figured out by then. You're not just figuring it out right before your deathbed. But, yeah, this place is a scam. And, but, yeah, that's where we sit. None of the polls matter to me. It's all rigged. All that's a show. It's like, it does not matter. Trump has already proven it. He's already proven that you can have stadiums packed, and still lose. I'm just sitting there scratching my head thinking, like, what does anyone think has changed? Like, no one's been arrested. This regime has not been overthrown. Do you think they're just going to give up power? Like, I just don't get it, man. They surrounded the White House with the National Guard just in case you tried to do anything. Then the whole J6 thing went into motion. They were prepared all the way around. You know, what are people going to do if this happens again? That's one of my biggest questions in my mind in the months ahead is what are people going to do, especially all the Trumpers out there, when they're told that Kamala Harris is your president? What's going to happen? Handful of guys that were affected by or being manipulated by the feds are going to probably pull some stage crap. Or all right, come on, we know something like that's probably going to happen. But what is there? Is there like is something's got to happen? Like I don't know, something's got to happen. It can't be under like the Trump banner. It's got to be under like the America banner. It's got to be people from all shapes, sizes, colors. Like, I don't know. We need like a militia. You know, how it's supposed to be. Making a stand here in this country while you can. Because Kamala gets in there, they're going to outlaw you doing anything. And I feel dare you to, I don't know, this place is getting flipped upside down. They're bringing your replacement in here. We're about to have to fight for our lives. No one's got the balls to say it. But that's where we're at. We're about to have to fight for our lives from here on out to 2030. As they turn this place into Mogadishu. As they turn it into what you've seen France become. And the hell the streets of the UK has been dealing with. Ireland. All these places turned upside down. That was the goal. And because people sit back and do nothing, it's going to escalate to that point. A lot of people pipe dream and think, oh, we got guns, it won't happen that way here. What's going to happen? People go, oh, they're going to use it. Are people going to do anything? People going to step up or do anything? Like, I'm sure in some places they are, and they will. I know they will in some places. Some places are not going to, and they're going to get hit bad. All right, I'm about to get to all this stuff. Let me get through this political stuff. Let me get through the Trump stuff here. Judge delays Trump's hush money sentencing until after the election. So, you know, they could give you Kamala and then hurry up and pull the sentencing up to like the day after. Sentence him and throw him in jail. They could throw him in jail if this dips out for a fourth time and reconnects. Keep track. Last time I changed the bitrate settings and everything was fine, but I'm going to have to get with Brother Tooge. See if he can help me figure this one out. I may have to switch away from OBS. I'm going to have to keep dealing with this. Only got a handful of links on the screen. Yeah, big lag. It cut out, but it's back. What it does is on my screen, you guys can't see it, but it pops up real quick and it says OBS disconnected. And then like within a second, it says reconnected. So it just disconnects for literally a split second on my end. And it's just enough to break the stream up for a minute until you get it back. I've went back and checked on the restream, and it stitches it together pretty good where you can't even tell when you're watching it afterwards that it happens. But all right. I got a couple more, a handful of other articles here I want to dive into. This would be the last one here on the politics. Elon Musk. If you don't know, he's fully on board with the whole Trump train. And he's basically saying that if Kamala gets in there, she's coming for everything. Censoring everything. And now he's taking it a step further. And he's saying that Trump must win because civilization is on the line. He literally says this. He says, I've never thought this before, but He says, I've never been materially active in politics before, but this time I think civilization as we know it is on the line. So this is running deep, and he knows that they're gunning for him. He's battling it out with the leadership of Brazil and this whole left-leaning faction here on the world stage, which I'm telling you, this is all a puppet show. It's all just meant to control the people and get the people caught up in the madness in the end. Because it's one big club, and we ain't in it. And this is how they do. You know, left and right wing are both part of the same bird. You see, for those of you that are just coming into the game and you're like, oh, Biden, Kamala, they suck and this and that, and Trump's the way and this and that, and blah, blah, blah. And you see the evils of one side. Well, you have to know the truth of who controls the whole thing. And it's Rothschild money, the banks. They have this whole time. Nothing's changed. All the past wars, they've controlled. And they control everything up to present day. Russia, China, they control all of it. United States, the West, they control the whole thing. So the world is a stage still. That's why they call them theaters of war, man. And they are in one big club. Because when you see the pictures of all them at these parties and these lavish places, they're all together. You know, we've got all these pictures of even Trump and Hillary hanging out and all this stuff. And I showed this when they were going head to head and people wouldn't listen. Trump and Hillary actually have a bloodline relationship. Yeah, they sure do. And, well, anyone that's been a president thus far is related. Again, one big club that you ain't in. All right. So, let me get to the final section I have lined up here tonight, and this is on this migrant crisis. This to me is the outside of like waking up to a market crash or lights out or something like that. Them crashing the stock market, banks and all that. This invasion is the number one thing on my list that we should all be concerned about. We should all be concerned about what's happening. And notice that the Chinese are coming in and operating in a bit of a different way. And I'm here to tell you that probably in the end, when, mass real killing military style was to take place, it'd probably come from this region, this sector. Because the Chinese are made so different but just by the way that they are in the country. And what I mean by that is every single citizen of China is made to be a spy. Every single one of them. Every single person in there has got to, what does it say here? All Chinese citizens and entities are required to assist the CCP in intelligence gathering. So the threat is real, very real. Every single soul. It's not like that here, like you could be born in the United States and you could just one day want to go somewhere, move to another part of the world or whatever and go there. And you're not by law, you don't have to spy for the United States of America and give them information. It's not like you don't have to do that. But if you're born in China, you do. Do you see they are bred differently? Literally. This is how they train every single soul that's in there. That you, wherever you're at, it's your duty. This is why you can't trust it. It's coming up time and time again. And they're just now starting to expose with the story that broke loose the other day about the lady working for Hochul that worked for the Chinese government was giving information. She's just one of what we're now seeing are about all kinds. There's a list here I can't pronounce half of them's names, but they're in every sector. And they start saying that this person and that person, they're stealing military records, they're stealing high technology records, all of it. All these names that you see on the screen here. Xu Xiong Wang, Yuan Tang, Lu Jing Wang, Lin Wei Ding, all these. Just look at the page. Every single one of these people have just been busted. They're all Chinese American, like I showed on the last stream. The lady that worked for Hochul, she speaks fluent American. You would think that she's full-blown American. Just looks Chinese. But even then, she's sending information back to China, and they're busting them. And they're busting them big time. It runs deep. And I'm telling you, the Chinese are being brought into this country. They're being brought in, as we've already exposed, a different way than the other migrants, which is a huge red flag. They're getting special treatment. They're getting brought up through back rivers and brought up to certain facilities that the other migrants are not going through or ever even seeing. And then they're disappearing because the Chinese own so much land here. They've got so many places. I'm telling you, we've got to start doing our research. This is becoming the battleground. And to sit here sleeping and doing nothing is stupid. As it gets. We should be knowing every single place that's facilitating this, housing the Chinese that are coming in. Any of these migrants. We know where some of the ones they're showing us in TV are. But very little of the Chinese are in there. The Chinese are going somewhere different, I'm telling you. And there's already over 1 million of them in here. Alone, just the Chinese. As you can see, they're all trained for intelligence gathering. And the Chinese have mostly military-aged men that have come in here. And I'm telling you, they've all been trained to kill. They've been trained for this moment. It's like a Trojan horse. They've slipped inside the Trojan. And whenever nightfall hits, they're going to slip out. Whenever that nightfall is. Okay? Whenever that night is. I kept telling you for months, all these migrants are waiting for their bat signal. Well, they just got it. In terms of the gangs. The gangs, the criminal gangs and the Chinese here, they're two different flanks. You understand? But we just learned something today. The feds just told us they're all working in concert. And they proved this. Okay? Right here. It's spreading. I put a video out on this. America's top oil field is now under attack. The Permian Basin. Right here in the United States of America. We have these Venezuelan gangs, Cuban gangs, all coming together, organized, working in concert. Brazenly, coming through armed and violently stealing anything and everything that they want. The people that see them and try to stop them, they run them off the road. They shoot at them. This is what the FBI is saying, okay? They're stealing the oil, the diesel fuel, the copper wire, the catalyst elements. They're coming in water trucks, acting like they're water haulers, and then trying to steal the stuff. And then when people try to stop them, they run the witnesses off the road. They say these guys are armed and dangerous, and they will not, their exact words are, they will not hesitate to use force. Boys and girls, it is time to ride. It is time to get ready to protect your base, or they're going to run up in it. This ain't no ifs. They're here. They're making moves. They've been given the signal to begin. This is it. This is everything we ever warned about. It's done up in Colorado, Chicago. Reports coming in tonight that in Wisconsin, they're there as well. They're saying that they're there in the streets causing hell in Wisconsin. They're moving to all these small towns. It's a town of 5,000 people that they found them in here this evening. They're sending them all over by design. So you think your little town, it can't be affected? Well, they just showed tonight that's not the case. They are targeting them. So, again, you can sit back and do nothing. Or we come together and we can do something. And one of the best ways that I know to do is to come together in the flesh. I want to get together. I almost want to announce, like, oh, I can't do it now, like this year, but like, and I feel like we're running out of time. I want to have a conference or a gathering of people so we can speak in the flesh about certain things. They can't be censored or chopped down or anything like that. We speak in the flesh about what's going to go down. And if we get the feel that there's a Fed in the group, we'll call them out and we'll kick them out. It's just that simple. Any other time there's been a Fed that we've thought showing up, they've stood out like a sore thumb. And look, you got to be intelligent enough. Yourself, you need to gather people. And if you feel that there's a Fed in the room, get rid of them. Don't talk about nothing crazy. Just don't do it. Tap the cool people in the room that you meet on the shoulder and be like, here, meet me later for dinner. And then you meet the good people out of it, because that's how you're going to have to do it. About the goods later. And yeah, they'll probably even try to slip one in there too. Okay? So you just have to be in your P's and Q's. You can't stop. You can't lay down and do nothing because you're afraid they're going to send a Fed in or something crap. That's pathetic. You better get up and start swinging. Because they're about to run up in here all over the place. And this is being done by design. This is being crafted. Okay? Crafted. It's being pushed by the mainstream media and everyone. As it's that time. It's just that time. And they're doing it that way to show others out there to get up. It's time. This is what we sent you here for. If you want to replace the people that are here and become the new citizen, as they're telling them, it's time to act. Because that's when they will deport them. They will send them, if they don't want to do as they say and fight against us, they will kick them out then. Does them no good. So that's what's on the table here. I mean, catch and release, they're letting them all go. Come on. It's got to stop at some point, but it's not, man. Texas, where you thought they had everything in check, maybe? I don't know what you thought. The Uncommon's in the chat right now. And he's been down there telling us that they've been coming across the border there in Texas for months. He's been going in there. He's going live, covering this stuff and everything else. Everyone is just like blind to this stuff. They don't care. Well, Texas, as you can see, our biggest oil field is getting ran up in. And they can't seem to stop them. So who's going to stop them? When they're running up in all these places. This one says that this Trende Iroquois gang has threatened to kill the property managers at this apartment complex. And it's all in paperwork filed in the courts. It's not just he said, she said. There's a law firm. It has all the paperwork right here on this, saying that they're getting death threats and all this other stuff from these people. Now, we had people go to these apartments on the ground. YouTubers went there. Gang members have gone here. In this Trende Iroquois is nowhere to be found. Did this event happen? We're pretty sure that these events did happen. But these guys are on the move, man. They're not just going to hang out at the crime scene. Give me a break. So, the rumors that they're occupying these buildings, that seems to be, is like the big lie. Because nowhere has any fresh footage been shown by anyone. By the gang members, by the YouTubers, anyone. They've gone in these buildings with their phones and with the translator and talked to all these people, knocking on doors, even went to the door that you see in the videos that all these dudes went to. It's pathetic, man. And the people are like, yeah, there's gangs here. There's shootings. There's violence. It's in the hood. But we're not paying rent to Trende Iroquois or whatever. And as you can see, they're not here. And it's the truth. And it's like, okay, so the mainstream has been pushing this repeated narrative that Trump even pushed to all of his followers, and even Elon, that these guys took over this building. And it's being regurgitated when we can't find no proof that they're occupying it right now. None. Not to say they can't show back up. They're not sitting around the block. They may be in an apartment in the building. We don't know. I'm sure they're close. But are they holding it down like with guns, daring people to even come in? No. We have not seen that. Oh, that's been garbage. So until we do, it's not happening. Okay? There's another clip showing what is said to be Venezuelan gangs walking down Chicago streets in O Block, the world famous O Block. And then you can hear gunshots firing off in the background and all the stuff, and people speculating, we're not seeing anything, that they're shooting at people in Chicago and that they did not shoot back. That is ridiculous as it gets and as stupid as it gets. I don't think there's a block out there. If you roll up on you, start shooting, you're not going to get shot back at. What it felt like to me was they were out there at 3 o'clock in the morning when no one was out, which is weak to do, and got their phone out and filmed a dead block with no one on it, and then their people in a car going by started lighting off shots in the air. It wasn't at no one. It was obviously in the air, and the guys recording kind of showed that. They weren't looking around, geeked. No. They were concerned about what they were filming. And was no screaming. It didn't sound like it was shots being, because I know, it doesn't sound like shots being shot at in a shootout. It sounded more like someone just letting off rounds, driving by. And they're trying to push it like the Venezuelan gang just went through O Block shooting everybody up and nobody did anything. I'm like, you people need a reality check, man. I put a clip out of a gang member from Chicago that tells you what they'll do. They got switches up there, and they'll use them quick. Chicago's notorious for it, and you need more than one manipulated video clip to prove some things, in my opinion. You need multiple sources, all this other stuff. That's what we've been waiting for these buildings, to see if the armed gangs are actually in them. And what we've come to find out is every YouTuber, every person that's gone down here to talk to them has not seen it. Okay? It's not even seen it. And I'm going to end it here this evening with this one. You can see right here, gang members meet in Aurora. On the last one I showed you, the dude from Chicago talking about it, and others. This time, it's gang members from across the country. They meet up to check them, and they grab a megaphone and they drive through the area. TDA headquarters is in Juarez. Where is that? Is that Mexico? Juarez, Mexico? Rumors they got man pads. Oh, really? Well, more information you get on that, send my way, brother. We'll play this clip so you guys can see that gang members are gathering here in America at this place, rolling up on, even with megaphones. And it's like, if the Venezuelan gang is so bad and deadly, how come they didn't roll up on them? How come they didn't roll up on the YouTuber? How come they didn't roll up on nobody? The news crews that roll up on them. They ain't rolled on no one. They didn't even show themselves.
Came down here to the Lowry Apartments, ran into Big Mod.
For sure, Big Mod 29. Y'all know what it is?
Yeah, we down here for the same reasons. Right
Facts.
here. Dallas and 12th. The Lowry Apartments. We're down here to chase these Venezuelans off.
Oh, we don't know. We ain't from here. Yeah.
Look, we got another one right here. What's up, bro? Look, we're down here to fucking take our country back.
Ain't no question.
We ready out here.
You guys want to mob down or what? I got a megaphone in the car.
Yeah?
What's your name, bro? I'm Big Mod, bro.
Yeah, we down here. America's back down to take this shit back.
Dallas, Texas.
Yeah?
For sure.
Yeah. Venezuelan gangs. We're here to chase you off. This is our fucking communities. You want to see what gang violence is? We invented gang violence.
Came down.
So you can see, this is, call it what you want or whatever. But I told you that when people were saying Hells Angels and truckers, whoever is going to try to show up out here, no, it's not. Trumpers, yeah, get out of here. Nobody. I told you that the only likely group in this country to make a stand is going to be the gangs. That's not to say Hells Angels and bikers and them, which are gangs, won't roll and won't do something. But that was fake news. That was fake news. And they're not. I seen a biker clip today where the dude was like, look, the Hells Angels and 1% gangs, they're not going to come out and tell you and say anything. They'll do everything behind the scenes and low key and all that stuff. So they do it different. They're not going to do all the social media crap. And he had points there. He had very valid points. But gangs are like everyday street gangs, everyday people. They're all over social media. Just like this dude. What did they do? He rolled up. He met up with another gang member from a whole different set. I think she's from Texas. They meet up with a whole different truckload that pulls up. So you've got 3 different units from 3 different areas meeting up, mounting up together, and going right through this hood where Trinidad, Iraq was supposed to be. Basically saying, if you're here, come kill me. If that's the case. Like if you're like that, bring it. He even pulled out a bullhorn. This white dude's a little nutty. I'll tell you, the way he was looking at the truck that pulled up to, I'll tell you, this dude right here, he'll definitely hold his ground. Nutcase or not, he definitely look like he'll hold his ground up there, and I'm sure several of them will. And see, that's the thing. I'm sure some of the locals don't want to get caught on camera. Matter of fact, we've seen some of the locals upset because of all this, and that's understandable. But, man, it's not always what it seems, man. I just want you to see this because they're trying to constantly regurgitate this every day. And I see clips of TikTok, put on Twitter, pushing a lot of suspect stuff, too. Look, man, I've been doing this a long time. When I start to see patterns in things, it's always the same thing. That something is scripted, something is crafted. Okay? And this has the feels of it. And what I take from it thus far is that, yeah, a lot of aspects of this are very real. But it's crafted in the sense that it's sending a signal. It's sending a message out, one that they keep repeating. That this gang is on the move. They're terrorizing. And they are. Don't get twisted. They are. They're the ones down there in Texas and the Permian Basin doing stuff. They're the ones in Dallas doing. They're all over. As I said tonight, in a town of 5,000 people in Wisconsin, one is up there. They caught one for I forget the charge, but they're everywhere. They're spreading them everywhere. I salute anyone that stands up and defends this country against the chaos. But knowledge is power. Divide and conquer is their tactic. And we've always said it's always been the dream of other people, even people they've murdered, like Tupac Shakur in the past. I believe the government murdered him and everything else because he was so close to bringing together both sides. Love him or hate him, say this and that. No one's perfect. But he was pushing a theme that most people didn't understand. It was called One Nation. And it was where the Crips and the Bloods came together. Because his whole unit was that way. Tupac came up with most his whole main squad, Big Syke and all them, they ran Crips. And when he got with Death Row, it was all Bloods. So, Snoop was Crip. And all that. So he was trying to bring something together, a peace in the end. It was called One Nation. And he was trying to establish this. Even though they had this big West Coast, East Coast thing that popped off, the feds pushed that mostly. That was their thing that they monopolized on after killing Tupac and Biggie. Sure did, and silenced them and took them away from us. 2 dudes that were just getting the game figured out at 25 years old. They seen that they could find a way to beat the loophole in the music industry, which was one key thing. And then the second was to bring everybody together under one nation. That was the whole name of it. It was going to be one nation, to drop all the crap. And that's the last thing that your government wanted, to see the seed of Black Panthers coming out doing that and being successful at doing so. But, you know, the dream, the idea was to stop the violence against each other here and, like, rise up against the beast. Illuminati, baby, expose it. You know, and come together in the name of peace. Don't go out there and have to threaten no one. I mean, I'll be honest with you. If all the people just showed up in one spot just to show up and shake hands and hey, I don't care if it's all gangs or not. It's the same old saying, like the Wild Wild West. If everyone shows up armed, well, then there's nothing to worry about. If everyone's honest, good people, if someone shows up being stupid, then they're just going to get smoked by the crowd. Everyone's going to have something to defend themselves with. I don't know what else to say here besides we got to unite underneath kind of the same pattern. As S. Soto shows up talking crap tonight and getting banned in the chat saying Tupac didn't stand for anything good, fool. Just running his mouth. Sounds like another disgruntled troll. You must have a lot of issues going on in your life. Come and wield your negative energy in a chat. Well, it just got you banned. Hope it was worth it. Anyhow, this is the only way that we're going to come together to do this. So from here on out, you're going to hear me talk about this on the live streams and update and all that. But in the flesh, we need to do more. We just need to start doing something more, something. Okay? No matter what it is, something's better than nothing, just getting together and talking about the issues, shedding light on it. I mean, before too long, if you wait, you're going to be talking about how a person in your neighborhood or that you know in your town or your city was killed. So you live in a bigger city, you hear somebody was killed by one of these gang members. It's going to hit that close to home. And then what? They're already in town. And I'm here to tell you, by design, they're going to make sure they're everywhere. They're seeding them everywhere. Can't you see? The people that just say, just hope and pray. Like, dude, you can't just sit there in front of a tank coming at you and pray that you're not going to get ran over. At some point, you got to get up and get proactive. Get up off that tail and be proactive, or you're going to lose your life. You hear me? Some of you ain't got no one around to help protect you. No one to depend on, no one to trust. So you got to take it upon yourselves, just like I do, and smoking trolls in the chat. I love it. I actually love it. I don't hesitate, see? Bang, bang. And much love, Nate. Nate, good to see you out there. Wayne, Jay, good to see everybody out there tonight. Hope you guys having a good Friday night amidst all the chaos. You know, spending time with good people, whether friends or family, is priceless. You can't get enough of it. So if you've got good people around, just one, just be blessed that you got it. Okay? And that's what it's all about. Helping the others around you at this point. Because, again, I know some of you out there don't have any help. Look, Ava says, I'm alone, but ready as I can be. You know, I feel your pain, Ava. It's people like you that my heart goes out to. I wish I could be closer to, could help out more. Any of the true cats out there. But you got to be willing to help yourself. You can, if there's any advice I can give you right now, is don't take on any dead weight. Yeah, worry about you, yourself, and your family. But in terms of friends or other people out there, like I've made mistakes just in the past few years. I took valuable years of my life and invested them into other people that ended up being garbage, other people that just used me for my time, my energy, and everything else to help get them set up, to help get them into a safe location. But when it came time for me to help me in this, it was nothing. It was screw daboo. So learn from my mistakes. This basically happened by people that can't help themselves, people that won't even go out and water plants, people that won't go out and cut their own grass, people that are that helpless, but are capable, that are fully capable of doing it, but are, I don't know what you want to call lazy. It's pathetic. People that cannot help themselves is the best way to put it. Do not get caught with them around you. Do not have them in your circle. Get them out as soon as possible. You're better off without them. They'll eat you. They'll bring you down, and they'll get you killed. Yep. So karma is something that comes back when you least expect it. And as long as you're walking righteous, you don't never have to worry about bad karma coming and getting you. But for those out there that walk wicked and act like they're righteous, go to church on Sunday, act like they're all goody-goody, but do these wicked things to God's people, well, they got it coming. I pray to the Most High that they awaken as He would want me to do. And I pray for all the enemies out there that they awaken, that they see the light. That's what He asked me to do, so I do it. There it is. But will they? That's on them. Therefore, I could tell God, I did what you asked. So after this, now what? Well, as He also says, Jesus said, if you got a cloak, sell it and buy a sword. And I almost ended this dream right there with the punch. I almost just hit end and stopped it. Just to leave you with that, because it's that powerful. He told you to sell the cloak and buy a sword for a reason. For all you people that scream all this peace crap. Jesus didn't say He's coming back for peace. He said He's coming back with a sword. He's going to light this place on fire. So you better get it right. You better get ready. He comes like a thief in the night, and I can't wait. For all these minions, for all these, He didn't give me the means. I don't have an army, so to speak. I don't have a 1,000,000-man army. I can't wage war against the beast. Who can wage war against the beast? The Most High can. I put my faith in Him, in the higher power, that He eliminates them, as it's written. I'll speak it into existence. So that's what I believe. Yeah. On His thigh was Lord of Lords, King of Kings. You understand that? It's very real. There's a lot of deception out there. Know that. Even the names of everything. Know that. We know this. That's why I say Jesus, Yeshua. The truest name that we can get close to. Throw it all out to the Most High. Whatever you're calling upon, that Godhead. Just know it's real. If there's someone out there that's thought about being atheist and they're thinking that something's not real, it's very real. Okay? And I'm not saying that just in a spiritual perspective. Put your thinking cap on scientifically. Energy never dies. Start there, your energy. Okay? And there's an opposite to everything. There's a yin to every yang, unless you just want to be non-scientific too. Just deny everything. Even with the scientific realm, there's an opposite to everything. You've been shown on this plane, in this realm, that evil exists to a high degree. Satan, all of his minions, they're very real. Well, there's an opposite to everything. That's scientifically. So that by default tells me there is a Jesus, there is a Yeshua, there has to be. Even you can hide Him, you can mix His name up, you can do all these things, try to do all these things to obscure it. But by default, He exists and my heart knows it, and you can never take that away. That is a beautiful thing. Okay? And your evil that's here has shown me that. In itself, amongst all the others, amongst the Lord showing me in all the prophecy. But you got to know, man, there's something very real about it here. This spiritual warfare to the highest degree, do not be blind to it. My whole goal here is to reach people and to get them out of here, man. Well, you don't have to come back here. You know you're going home. Yeah, man. That's what it's all about. What do you got to say about that, trolls? Suck on that. No, you just want to stay here trolling for all your days. Idiots. I love y'all. I'm going to sign off here for the night. Take us out of here in some music. I look to be back here Monday. Going live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern. God willing. If he doesn't return in the coming days, I'll see you next time. For Underground World News Live. Much love and God bless. Much love, Handy Jones. Thank you, Uncommon News, for the super chats. Much love.